Hey guys, welcome to Pistons Bandwagon. My name is Caleb, and today we're going to talk about Ron Holland. I think a lot of people are excited about him, especially after some of his showings in the Summer League games, and so I kind of want to talk a little bit about him and compare him to some of his peers in his class. But first, if you guys could like and subscribe, that would be awesome. I want to continue to contribute to the Pistons content community. I would love to collaborate with other content creators, and in order to do that, I need a little bit more following. So I would really appreciate that. So today's video is inspired by a community post by SROS. He's a NBA content creator, excuse me. Who I typically disagree with his views on Pistons players, so I don't watch a lot of his content, but he had a community post of having people rank rookies from last season that they would take long term, and I thought Ron was really underrated. And so I left a post or a comment on that post, and I'm going to use the stats that I put in that comment for this video. And so I'm actually going to send it to my professional analyst to go over those stats. What's going on, Pistons fans? Here with some really good professional analytics. So the SROS post, I was about Reed Sheppard, Alex Sarr, Zachary Reese-Shea, and Ron Holland. That was the people that it was ranking. And so I kind of did a little bit of a math here, and I took all of those player stats and I adjusted them for 36 minutes, which is typical starter minutes. And to kind of help compare them to kind of separate them from their situation. But before we can do that, I actually think that two of these players' situation means that they should not be in conversation with the other two. You guys ready? Reed Sheppard, garbage time minutes. Only garbage time minutes from what I can tell. And so the fact that he has 12.6 points, 4.3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 35.1% field goal percentage, which is rough, by the way. We're not including him in this conversation. He's not playing significant minutes on a competitive team. The Rockets obviously are a competitive team, but the minutes that he was playing, not significant, didn't really matter. Boom. Next. Sorry for the chalk sounds, guys. Alex Sarr on the Wizards. I don't really think I need to explain why the Wizards are not a good sample size for whether or not you can contribute to competitive basketball. It's the Wizards. So those two players, I think, are not really. I think they're talented, but I think they have to be in a competitive environment before we can consider who we're going to take long term. And neither of them were. So Alex Sarr and Reed Sheppard got some talent, both defensively and offensively. Very inefficient and not in competitive environments. We're done. We're done with them. But Zachary Reese-Shea and Ron Holland, I think, were the two outside of Stephon Castle who won the Rookie of the Year, and that's the reason why he's not in this race, because I think he was ahead above everybody else by the end of the season. But comparing Ron and Zachary Reese-Shea. Also, why is there 2 C's in his name? That's stupid. So Zachary Reese-Shea clearly scored a lot more per 36 than Ron. Ron, better rebounder, a little bit more of a playmaker. I feel like that's more of a role thing than anything else, because I feel like at least in the draft process, Ron was not considered much of a playmaker. He was pretty bad at that at the G League Ignite, and Zachary was considered a much better IQ player, I think, than Ron. And so I feel like Zachary Reese-Shea not having less assists per 36 is more a result of playing alongside Trey than anything else. But Zachary Reese-Shea contributed a lot more scoring-wise, a good amount more scoring-wise, I should say. And they're about similar efficiency-wise. I didn't put three-point percentage because I want to, adjust the stats and mess with them so that way my viewpoint looks better than everyone else's. Zachary had a much better three-point shooting percentage than Ron, but I don't think that is going to be a long-term thing. But we'll get to that later. So as you can see, pretty good stats, both of them in environments where they're actually playing significant competitive minutes. And so that is my official analysis. Wow, just mind-boggling stuff. Everyone give a round of applause for our analytics team. That was incredible. It really was. So I think Ron and Zach are some of the only rookies that really played. Really, I mean, even Stephon Castle wasn't playing on a competitive team because by the end of the season, De'Aaron Fox was out and then Wemby was out. So they were not really competing for a playoff spot. They actually were tanking. And so even though he won Rookie of the Year, and deservedly so, I think him, Sarr, and Reed are not really in the same conversation as Zach and Ron at this point, just because they were not playing serious competitive minutes. And so I also think that Ron's numbers don't tend to point to his impact as much, just because I think Ron is such a high motor guy. He's doing a lot of things as a 19-year-old, by the way, last season. He just turned 20, but he is the youngest player in the class. And I think his numbers for being that young are very impressive. I also think he is the best athlete in the class. Actually, I don't. I think it's probably Stephon Castle, but he is up there with Stephon Castle as an athlete. He's also taller and longer than Stephon. So if that's what you value a little more is size compared to verticality, then Ron has that. So he's one of the best athletes in the class. He's the youngest in the class. And I think he has shooting potential, and this is kind of getting to the Summer League game. But it's also talking about last season as well, so he only had 23.8% made threes last season, which is bad. It's really bad. But I don't think that it necessarily is the entire story in terms of his shooting. He, going into the draft process, all the Pistons people were saying that his shot doesn't look completely broken, which I agree with. It doesn't. And if you look through his G League highlights, which I did a lot when we drafted him, he had some like tough threes that he made, and made a decent amount of threes. I think him being as inefficient as he was more about the environment that he was in, and just being so young and having to produce so much and be such a creator, which he is not necessarily a role that he should be in, especially in the G League at that age. And so I think that he has the potential to be a three-point shooter, a somewhat genuine floor spacer, and have a little bit of gravity. And I think he, as during the recording of this video, he's played in 2 Summer League games. I feel like that's probably going to be the most that he plays. I don't know if he's going to play in the other 2. But in those 2 games, he's 6 for 11 from 3, which is very good. Obviously, it's Summer League, and this isn't going to, he's not going to shoot, 55, 52% from 3 on the season. That would be crazy, and it's not something that we should expect. I don't even think we should expect more than 40%. I think over 30% would be a significant improvement, and I think we can expect a significant improvement from him. I think we hired Fred Vinson during last offseason, and he didn't have a full season with these guys, and then Ron was drafted after and didn't have a full season with him as a result of both of those things. And so I think that when we talk about free agency stuff, we talk about what the Pistons did this offseason, losing Malik Beasley. A lot of people are super concerned with spacing, which I think is fair, but I think a lot of people are also forgetting that we have the best three-point shooting coach in the league in Fred Vinson, and I think that his impact on this offseason and the general trajectory of the team is not talked about enough. I think that it's okay to expect a little bit of improvement three-point shooting wise across the board, especially for the young players. And I think that Ron Holland has already shown some potential as a three-point shooter even before spending this offseason with Fred. He had a couple good stretches last season. He had some games where he made a bunch of threes and kind of was on fire from downtown. And so I think that, and his form is pretty good. His free throw shooting is pretty decent, besides when he's playing the Bucks, unfortunately. But I think that it's reasonable to expect Fred Vinson's coaching to have an impact on certain players on the team, at least being the best three-point shooting coach in the league. And I think I would not be surprised if the player that we see that Fred Vinson's coaching have the most impact on next season is Ron Holland. And if Ron is a 35% three-point shooter next season, on top of some of the other improvements that he'll make, being stronger, having a better handle, watching more film and knowing more, like being a little bit more locked in with what's going on and being adjusted to the pace. He said in a recent press conference or a recent interview that he's been watching a lot of film and paying attention to a lot of things, and his playmaking and stuff like that in the summer league, I think, were a reflection of that. So if he's able to shoot 35% from three, on top of those other improvements, I think his improvement is going to have a big impact on the Pistons next season. And I think a lot of Pistons fans and a lot of general NBA fans are really, really underrating Ron and what he can do for this team. He's 6'8". I think he has a 6'11" wingspan, super athletic, not a Sar Thompson or a Men Thompson type athleticism, but like one of the better athletes on the team for sure. He's got great speed. He's got decent strength for his size. I think he's wiry, but like he's able to use all of his size, and his slashing ability is really, really, really strong. And so I think that if he can draw closeouts, I think he'll be a great, great off-ball player. He'll be a great defender. I think Ron Holland is going to be improving a lot next season, during this offseason, before next season, and I'm just excited to see where he goes. So this video has kind of been a general offseason review / rant for Ron Holland going into next season. I'm super excited. If his 3-point shots can fall down more often. Sorry, I'm getting tired. It's the end of the video. If his 3-point shots can fall more often, I think he'll be a really, really good player for this team. He has, I think, a really high ceiling, one of the highest ceilings on the team. I think he has a higher ceiling than Jaden Ivey. I don't know about Sar Thompson. Sar's got a crazy high ceiling, but I also think that Ron is a little bit more likely to reach his ceiling than Sar, just because I believe in his shooting a little bit more. And so I think Ron Holland is an underrated player, both by Pistons fans and by NBA fans at large, and I'm super excited to see what he can do next season. Hopefully his role is a little bit bigger. It'll be a little bit interesting in terms of lineup stuff based on some of the free agency pickups, like how those lineups are going to work and where those minutes are going to come for Ron. But I'm excited for Ron's future, and I'm excited for him to contribute next season. I think he is one of the most important pieces. I think him, Cade, and Asar are probably the 3 most important pieces in my eyes, which is a little bit of a hot take, but I just think with his two-way potential, he has the most two-way potential on the team, and I'm excited to see it. So again, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this or want to see some more content, like and subscribe. Let me know what topics I should talk about next. Let me know what ways I can improve my content. I'm just starting out, so yeah. I am excited to see where the Pistons go in the future, excited to see how the next couple of Summer League games go, and excited for the season to start in like 3 months, which is crazy that there's only like 3 real months off of the NBA season. But yeah, bye guys.